Voja Lalich from Vicert, an organization that HITLAB has been working with in the last couple of months or so. And they are one of the leading healthcare solution developers that are working with a multitude of different organizations within the industry, from providers to payers and so forth. This particular panel, or this particular discussion, will be centered around software development practices in health tech and how we're moving forwards with that. And we'd love to get Voja's thought leadership on that. But first of all, Voja, for those that don't know you in the audience, I would love to know a little bit more about yourself, where you're calling from, and are you watching the World Cup?
Hi, Jerry. Very good to see you. Hi, everybody. Thank you. It's great to be here. Yes, I'm watching the World Cup. I'm originally Serbian, so it's a big day tomorrow. We did what we could with the Brazil, but it's a tricky, strong competitor. So we'll see how it goes from here. So yeah. I'm based in San Francisco for the last 20-some years and have founded Vicert quite a while back. And Vicert has been focusing on building digital health and health IT solutions for more than 20 years now. So I've really been in and around the space for quite a while now.
No, wonderful. Thanks so much for giving us a bit of insight into what you've been doing and stuff. Now, what we want to do really is dive into how important software development practices are and how they're being recognized by different big software product companies and so forth. So to that note, I think one of the first questions I really have for you is what are the key challenges at the moment that you've seen, especially in your in your realm of work with Vicert, are the key challenges of developing software solutions within healthcare?
Yeah. I mean, it's a field that has been shaping and changing over the years, but really the challenges, we see them as two groups of challenges. Some are non-technical and some are technical. And when I say non-technical, I mean they're specific for our domain. So to name a few that need to be put into consideration as we look at building solutions, certainly dealing with the PHI, and who gets to see that, obviously patient and the provider, but what is the governance around this data, and how is this data propagated? One thing that's specific to our domain. Second thing is integration with various systems from EHRs down that are really not designed to be particularly open to integration. So overcoming some of those challenges are specific to the domain. And to tie to the panel that was just before of us, the importance of UX and UI, user experience, and user interface design. And I think it's really overlooked how important that is from the adoption and ability to effectively use the system and engage the patients and the customers. And it's not really just about the people with disabilities or the senior citizens. It is us as well, and very important to understand the mindset that we are coming into the problems to the application dealing with our health or dealing with health of our loved ones. It's different from like I'm shopping for a new pair of jeans online. So it's I think importance of that is huge. So that's kind of one area of challenges that's very specific to our domain, I would say, but fairly broad. And then there are some technical challenges. Obviously integrating with various medical devices, from the clinical equipment to consumer electronics is one. And then, dealing with all the data from a security standpoint, HIPAA, GDPR, to basically looking at all the data models and where the data is basically coming from, and how to, deal with HL7, deal with fire, and and knowing what data I'm going to take from where, how I'm going to store it, put it in, and use it is really super complex in our space. So we are looking at the terrain that we are operating in and trying to build something on that is really more of a jungle than a field. And you know, we were hoping that it's going to get simpler over the years, but it's actually, we are not seeing that. If anything, it's getting more complex. So that's the lay of the land that I see right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally spot on, and you definitely outlined a lot of key factors that you've got to consider, you know, around the development of those different solutions and stuff. And you made a very good point about, you know, how you've got to take into consideration certain things when you're working in different kinds of industries, I suppose.
Yeah, it is really not just the tech. I think that the elements of the domain are so strong here that are, you know, healthcare as a domain to operate in, and health IT that we are working on, that really changes the game. Just having software engineering skills alone is necessary, but certainly not sufficient condition to build these systems successfully and effectively.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I totally agree with you. And like, can you speak then to how like the development of software in health tech is different from, as you alluded to, you know, when you spoke, just in the earlier question you answered, how that differs from software development in other domains and industries, and what specific challenges, you know, that there are, you know, with developing software for healthcare.
I mean, it's given the terrain that we're operating on, I think having a strong, well-defined, basically, process is fundamental to being successful. And it's not some secret sauce that we invented or we need. It is out there. But I think organizations in healthcare generally are underappreciating the importance of having a strong software development process. And, you know, the significant investment is made to hire engineering teams and talented individuals to be part of the team, but organizations are fundamentally in a different business. They are not really in the business of building software. They're in the business of providing service or finding innovation, doing research. So their focus and their product management energy goes there, not in software development. And very often you see that, you know, talented engineers are lacking significant investment that's needing on top of that to provide a framework in which they will operate to successfully build these solutions. And I think that's something that that we see a lot. And I mean, not just that, but I think that is I think a first obvious thing that we are seeing. So fairly, I think part of it also is that these IT organizations in hospitals or payers, where you have a large system that is capable of making investment, is actually stemming from, I would say, historically, work that was done to deploy EHRs or lab information systems or ERP, CRMs, and configure those and maintain those. And it's a different type of work and different kind of challenge and scope from engaging in building an innovative solutions on top of those frameworks, for example, that are meeting specific business needs. Now that will differentiate the offering or be able to put that innovation out there. And then operating in the environment where you basically have a challenge of how to do that while, you know, with minimal disruption, you know, going back to some of the challenges, how we're going to do that, but not disrupt existing workflows. You know, talking about integrations with EHR, sometimes people see like, oh, it's a technical challenge. Yeah, but really not a technical challenge. It is business and operating challenge. how is it configured? How do we configure it to make it work for what we need now? How to do this to minimize the changes to the clinical workflow and change management that's going to come from that. So it's like it's really this mix between the technical challenge and the domain challenge, and having a software development process in those engineering teams that is tight and well managed, that provides the transparency to the business and supportability, maintainability, effective build of the solution, and delivers the ROI and does stuff on time and on budget is essential. So just waving the flag of let's have the process in place to make this significant investment in the teams be better managed and deliver better ROI.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you touched on some really, really important points there that, that really do need to be considered, when we really talk about these different processes and best practices that need to be, implemented and, and really thought out within these different, healthcare organizations and stuff. So just go ahead. Well,
yeah, but I mean, but the process alone it's a fundamental foundation, I think. But really, when I'd like to look at talk about software development process in a broader context, really, because that's like that engineering team needs to be able to do the work in a right way, in an efficient way. But it really, as most things, it starts at the top, and what really is necessary is to for the leadership in the organization to have well-defined and well articulated business goals, and based on that business goals, have the business requirements defined that are well articulated, that are measurable and can be evaluated as we go through. And I think that provides this first step. It's a Rubicon that basically we need to cross, and from there on, taking those business requirements and making a technical design out of that. And that's where this expertise comes to play, like domain expertise. And we have examples of like, you can design it so it takes $1 million in 6 months, or you can design it to take $100,000 in 2 months to build, and provide equally strong solution. But using the domain expertise in designing the solution is actually where significant change can be made. Once you have the technical design and you have a team that has strong software development process, then you're kind of going in and you build a software product. But it's the 1, 2, 3 there that starts from the top, and very often, the step 1 and 2 are insufficiently invested in, or sort of overlook the importance of what needs to happen before the code is written. Really, in the space, the challenges shouldn't be technical. We should be solving business problems. We are not here to write software. We are here to move the needle on some of the goals and have impact, and that's what this is about. Yeah.
No, I think you hit a lot of nails on the head there.
Okay.
In terms of some of the questions I was going to ask, but I mean, like, as kind of I guess a wrap up now, because we are pretty much at time. Obviously, there is a very established kind of opinion, in terms of the infrastructure that these different teams feel like they have to put into place to achieve these different successes. But I know you've identified different layers of excellence to implement health tech solutions successfully. Can you leave us with a final thought of how you've kind of gone about that, and how that's going?
I think just kind of recognizing these layers and making sure that effort is put in place, the best effort at the team is put in place to do the right thing, defining the goals and the business requirements, the technical design, and then the implementation with a strong software development process. And that software development, I think this broader context is very important to be owned by the organization and nurtured. And it's getting engineers and using agile is really 10% of what needs to be in place to build solutions that will deliver value and move the needle. And I think taking a holistic view on what it takes to build software is fundamental to successfully do so.